Hey there, guys and gals. So this is Pathfinder's Rise of the Runelords Pawn Collection. Now, one of the cool things that Pathfinder does over your regular D&D is that you know how WizKids freaking loves releasing mystery boxes for all their minis, and it's such a hassle to get exactly what you need? Well, whenever Pathfinder releases a new adventure module or series, I don't know what Pathfinders are called because I'm not that big into Pathfinder. They also release a pawn collection, which is a series of standees that will cover anything you might need to use within that adventure module. Wow, what a concept! I grabbed this one specifically because there was stuff that I'm looking for in here at the time. My players are watching this. But basically, within this, you get all the stuff that you might need to run a Rise of the Runelords collection. And this is everything that's in there, but we will be going through it one by one. Don't you worry about that. So now the cellophane's off and you can actually see what's in there. Only thing I can tell you really is that that is Sayoni. She's the sorcerer, like the default sorcerer for Pathfinder. I actually have a bunch of her figures because they're really cool. Now you might be thinking this is a book. It's not really a book. It's just the cover so that you know that they're all from here. But now that the cellophane is out of the way, basically they tell you, oh, this will give you an easy way to have all the pawns if you're running the Rise of the Runelords Adventure Path, which is what they call their modules type deals, which is good. And within this, you have 81 different pawns. So just think standees. There's all these particular characters. That's a basic gist of what they are. Remember that Pathfinder goblins look really, really cracked out compared to D&D goblins. We're just going to go through the whole list. I will show you each of the pawns in this box, or book, or pieces of cardboard that are stacked together to look like a book. So let's just go through all the standees that we've gotten here. I did say on the back that there were 81 different designs, but that does not mean that there are only 81 standees in here. As you can see, there's duplicates. So 81 different designs, but there are duplicates of some standees, especially like if they're cannon fodder creatures. And I believe that tag tells you like what part of the adventure path they come in on, but I'm not 100% sure. The one thing to note about Pathfinder pawns is that there's no set of Pathfinder pawns except for the starter set of Pathfinder pawns that comes with bases. You have to go out of your way to get more bases yourself. And I'm just going to lift it up so you can see. That's how thick they are. So they are genuinely pretty big, all things considered. They appear to have the same image on both sides, so there's no front and back. That's fine. You can make do with that. Wouldn't be the first time you've had to make do with that. Oh, the art for these is absolutely fantastic. And again, while yes, these are for the Rise of the Runelord Adventure Path, you can use these guys for whatever you want. Paizo's not coming after you. Pinkertons aren't going to come after you. Hasbro's not going to come after you. It's not like Hasbro's going to be like, hey, you can't use a skin saw cultist pawn in your D&D campaign. How dare you? That's cool, Eden. Oh, now we got some big boys. I'm going to turn them sideways because they're all like this anyway. Oh, it's a big, nasty spider. That's terrifying. I gotta look up some stat blocks. I tell you what. The Headless Lord. Oh, it's a cool frost giant. A bit small for a frost giant, though. I wonder if this is as big as the minis go, and then you just get a different base. That's entirely possible. I've noticed a lot of standees and minis do that these days, where the mini size, like the physical mini, won't ever go past large size, but the standee's base is how you actually determine what their size is. Rune slaves, hill giants. You've got pretty much all of your giants here. I wonder if that's why I grabbed it. Ooh, that's cool. Oh, that's cool. Oh, you got some dragons in here too, and some wyverns. Yeah. That's terrifying. I am noticing that a lot of their art goes off the standee, which is a bit of a weird choice, Paizo. Just a bit of a weird choice. Carrion Storm. I don't think... At first I was wondering if the numbers under Rise of the Runelords was their CR, but that cannot be true. Oh my god, that is disgusting. Again, the Pathfinder goblins are weird. Just be aware of how weird they are. I'm going to turn them this way again so you can see these two guys. War Chief Rip Nugget! Oh man, these are big dudes. Cool. So many goblins. Potentially exactly why I got this set, because as you know, I started Lost Mines at Phandelver, and 2 of my 3 BBEGs are goblins. So naturally, I need a lot of goblins. Oh, my bad. My hand's in the way. Oh, yes. Those are big boys. Such big boys. And the final one is... It does look like they go... That's a huge creature by far. The Storm Giants. They do go past the standee size for large. That's terrifying. What is that? Redcaps! I actually 3D printed a bunch of redcaps when I first started playing. It's one of my first, wild encounters for my players. But yeah, that was everything in the Rise of the Runelords pawn collection. I want to say something that might be controversial here. You don't necessarily have to buy the official Pathfinder standees when you're grabbing one of these. You can probably use other standees. You just have to measure exactly how thick the bases are for these guys. So if you have any base that might hold something in like this, like I've got clear bases from the Fate Forge pawn collection that I'm 99% sure will fit onto these guys. And you know what? We're going to test that out right now. I just went ahead and popped out 3 Goblin Warrior tokens, standees, whatever you want to call them. These are pawns. This is about how thick they are. And then I grabbed 3 different bases that I have lying around. So these are the standee bases that come with the Fate Forged Creatures box. So I'm assuming these are about the same thickness as the stuff that's in the Fate Forged Creatures box, which you already have seen me do an unboxing of. I've already showed you off that stuff. These 2, which I'm realizing now are essentially the same thing, just black and white, are replacement board game token holders. You just get sets of them. I think they usually come in 24 pieces. You can get sets of them on Amazon or eBay or what have you for all your games that are running random standees that need bases. They're easy to find, easy to grab. I'm just going to take this pawn and I'm going to try to put it in the Fate Forge base. It does fit and it is incredibly snug. The Fate Forged creatures seem to be a little bit thinner than the pawns for Pathfinder, but it will push in, like it will leave a dent in them. So maybe we don't want to keep doing that. We're just going to go with the black one. You can sort of get them in. It's hard because these are thick. You got to really push them in. Once you get past that little wave, though, you can even still read it. It's still open. You can do that. You can see it's smushed it a little bit, but it fits fine. So you don't necessarily have to buy the paizo specific standees. Let's see if we can do the same with the clear one, because this is basically the same. I think it might be easier if I opened it a bit. Oh, I bent it up. This one does not open as wide as the black ones. Interesting, even though they clearly look like they're the same thing. This might be harder without some kind of way to jimmy it open. You may be beating up your standees, but you probably can get them in. Yeah, there's a much more fit snug on these clear ones. So you could go with some replacement board game holders. Let me see what it actually is. The listing that I got them from was an Aster 24-piece plastic game blah, 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 for board game markers, party favor type deal. I'm not actually sure where these clear ones came from. I think they came with the Hex Monsters pack. I'm pretty sure, whereas those were basically like flat pieces of paper, so it makes sense why these are much tighter together, much more difficult to get them into. Seems like this is the best option though so far, which you can definitely just go online and grab separately. I wanted to show you guys exactly what was in the Rise of the Runelords pawn collection, because this is a neat idea, both from like just a general running the game standpoint, but also for getting all these minis for the MSRP of this one in particular was $25. Imagine what you would have gotten in physical minis for $25. It would have been way less than these 81 specific designs with multiples of some of them. Like, this is a great deal, and they're pretty simple to find a way to stand up. I also will suggest you can probably, though I haven't tried this out yet, if you measure them, like I do with my, this is a bad example because it's not a double layer one, but hold on. For example, this is a skinny mini, and with the skinny minis, this is a 3D printed base, and then I have some adhesive foam over here, some sticky foam. What I do is I get a measure of what the base size is, and then I can thump it into adhesive foam, and then I just stick them in. You can probably do that with Pathfinder standees as well. I'm almost certain you can do that with your pawns. Just measure out the bottom base, cut a groove into some adhesive foam. I don't have any out right now. I should have grabbed them. That are 2 layers of adhesive foam, but a lot of the times you can do bottom layers, find the correct size, and then cut the groove into the top layer so that your standees fit into them. Maybe I'll make a how-to video on that. If you guys want to see a how-to video on how to make a standee base for the Pathfinder pawns out of adhesive foam, let me know. Sorry, they don't use adhesive foam because it's supposed to be for kids. It's all sticky foam, which I think is hilarious. Please, if you need a whole bunch of minis, don't rule out Pathfinder's pawn collections, because they're super helpful. There's a lot of stuff in them. And yes, if you're running a D&D game, some of the minions, some of the way the creatures look is going to be a little different. But again, it's a game all about imagination. If you want your players to see them some way, just be like, hey, it doesn't look like what the physical mini is. It looks like what I'm telling you it is. This is what your characters see. But if you players of all classes liked what you saw, leave a like. If you want to see more content like this, sub, and I will see you all later in the next one. If you would like to support me monetarily, and you are able to, you can become a YouTube member and get some sweet perks like access to my D&D BGM list, and also some of my video notes, which may help you in the future, and also access to the D&D Homebrew repository, a lot of which we have gone through on the Monday streams for DM Roundtable.